Hi, this is Dr. Berry. In this short video, I want to discuss with you ways that you can find a low carb doctor, a doctor who understands low carb, high fat, keto, carnivore, even paleo. More and more healthcare providers are coming to this space. They're realizing the amazing health optimization improvement that comes from eating a proper human diet, which I consider keto, carnivore, or some version of that to be for almost every human on this planet. And so I'm going to give you all the resources that I know of online where you can type in your zip code and find a low carb, keto, carnivore doctor near you. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a couple of hacks or strategies just in case you can't find a doctor on any of these lists. A couple more strategies you can use to find a doctor who is at least aware enough and who is still enough of a student who would work with you on this and come to understand a low carb way of eating. So let's get into this. Now, if you like videos where a family doctor takes the ancestral history of the human species and then combines that with common sense and then looks at the meaningful research and then gives you recommendations, then please consider clicking that subscribe button. It's right down there somewhere. And click the bell right beside it so you get notifications when I have a bright idea. Now, let's talk about this. I want to give you first two warnings. First of all, just because you see a doctor on one of these lists does not mean they're a good doctor. It just means that they are woke enough to understand that a low carb diet is probably the proper human diet for almost every human. There will be probably quacks on this list. There will be shysters. There'll be people who don't even believe in a low carb, high healthy fat diet or a keto diet or a carnivore diet who put their name on this list just to get patients. So, as always, patient beware. But the very fact that they've made it onto these lists that I'm going to tell you about in a minute is a good sign that they probably at least understand that the diet that you eat on a daily basis is the foundation of your overall health. The second caveat or warning is that many doctors, when they come into this space, they realize the potential to make a lot of money selling you supplements. And so if one of these doctors you go see tries to sell you an armload of supplements, don't buy those supplements. You don't need those. Okay. If you eat the proper human diet, your human body is going to thrive and flourish. You don't need to buy hundreds of dollars a month worth of supplements from any doctor or any company. Now, with those two warnings out of the way, let's get into this list. The first website, and I'm going to put links to everything down below, but there's no link to the two tips I'm going to give you at the end, so watch for that. Low Carb USA, they have a big list of doctors in the United States who understand a low carb diet. And you can actually put in your zip code and then it'll tell you within 50 or 100 miles where a doctor is. And so you can decide, is it worth the drive to go see that doctor, or should I just try to educate my own doctor? The second website on the list is foodmed.net. This is a worldwide list of healthcare providers, and it doesn't just have doctors. It has psychologists, psychoanalysts, it has nutritionists, dietitians, it has all kinds of healthcare providers on this list at foodmed.net. Next is dietdoctor.com, have a huge list of healthcare providers. That's a worldwide list that all these doctors will at least understand keto or low carb and will be able to help you with your journey. Next is Low Carb Down Under. This website has a list of doctors in Australia and New Zealand, or healthcare providers who will understand your way of eating. Next is Low Carb Practitioners, and this is not just MDs, but also other mid-level providers. And this is also a worldwide list, multiple different countries represented on this list. Next is ketogenic.com. This is a large list of United States doctors and healthcare providers who understand the low carb way of eating. The next one is myketocal.com. And this is a very specialized website. If you have a seizure disorder or you have a child with a seizure disorder, myketocal.com has a list of doctors who use a therapeutic ketogenic diet to treat seizure disorders. So that's very vital if you have a seizure disorder or if you know someone who does. Now, any of those, this video you can share with anyone. You can click the share button and share it on Facebook. You can share it in an email, on a text message. There's multiple different ways to share this. So if you know someone who needs a low carb, keto, carnivore doctor, please consider sharing this video. It might help them a lot. Next is dietdoctor.com again, but they also have a Spanish version of doctors who speak Spanish. And there's a link down below to this. And so if you know someone who's a Spanish speaker who has trouble with English as a second language and they want a doctor who speaks their native tongue, then Diet Doctor has a Spanish version. Now, there's also a French website called Eat Fat to Be Fit. And there's a link down below for that. And it is a French speaking website that tells you about French speaking doctors who understand low carb, keto, carnivore, who are in France, in Belgium, in Canada. And so that's I mean, if you don't speak English and you don't speak Spanish, if you speak French, that's a valuable resource to have a doctor who speaks your native tongue, who understands your way of eating. Finally, on this list, I've included paleophysiciannetwork.com. Any doctor who understands paleo is going to also understand low carb, keto, even carnivore. It's all going to make sense to the doctor who's in the Paleo Physician Network. You're not going to sound like you're from Mars. Okay, they're going to be like, oh, okay, I'm paleo, but I get it. I get what you're going for here. And so a doctor on the Paleo Physician Network can work with you, and you can help educate that doctor that maybe sweet potatoes and quinoa aren't the best choices even for them. Now, the two tricks that I told you at the beginning that I was going to talk about, now's the time I'm going to talk about them. So if you've put in your zip code in all these lists and you can't find a doctor within 200 miles of you, excuse me, go to your local pharmacy that still compounds medicine. And so this is not going to be a Walgreens or Rite Aid or Walmart or Kroger. This is going to be a locally owned pharmacy that has the mortar and pestle on it that still makes medicine the old-fashioned way. If you go and talk to that pharmacist and say, hey, I'm looking for a doctor who really thinks that nutrition and diet are important to health, then that pharmacist is going to know all the doctors within 100 miles who understand that nutrition is the bedrock of all health, and he or she can give you some recommendations. Secondly is don't give up on your doctor. There are many doctors who don't talk about keto or carnivore or low carb who are actually, they and their family are doing it and they understand the benefits, but they're not going to say it to you first. Because they're afraid of the repercussions of malpractice or the medical board or being sued. But if you say, hey, I'm eating low carb, keto, carnivore, can you help me with that, or do I need to find a new doctor? Most doctors who are still in the business of actually caring about patients and their overall health and their health span are going to say, well, I don't know much about that, but let me look into it, and then we can work on it together. And then that's the beginning of a beautiful medical partnership with your doctor. Now, if any of you guys know of a low carb, keto, carnivore friendly doctor, please put their name and maybe even their phone number in the comments below. And that way everybody can see, oh, there's a doctor in Nebraska. There's a doctor in California. That's really near me, because some of the doctors that I know of who are low carb, keto aren't on this list. And so you can actually help grow this list. You can actually recommend doctors to these lists of doctors, and they'll add them if they meet muster. And so that's how you can actually improve your overall health, by finding a doctor who understands your way of eating and can help you on this journey. This is Dr. Berry. I'll see you next time.